G'day, good morning. Welcome to an overcast day in Devonport. Forecast is for no rain. We've already had a shower. And after disembarking off the ferry, which was a bit of a hurry up and wait situation, I then found, of course, that because you can't set the GPS in the bowels of the ship, there's too much metal around, can't see the satellites. So when we got out, I found that the route that I'd set, as has been the case just recently, was far too long, and the GPS couldn't pick it up properly, and I've then had to plot a new one, and then I found out that the camera wasn't connecting properly. So after a nice lot of technical problems to start with, we're on our way. We'll see what goes. It's supposed to be a fine day, but you know, the crossing last night was really good. The sea was absolutely flat. There was no issues whatsoever. However, recliners, yeah, well, you know, they might be good. They're a bit like aircraft seats in economy class, with a bit more room. That's the only thing. So I didn't get really good sleep. But it is what it is, and we'll and we've got only a very short run today. It's only about 300k as opposed to yesterday, which is about 800 after the detour. Problem is with the GPS, if it thinks the road's closed, the settings I've got it on will automatically reroute, and the GPS was keeping on thinking that all the areas that were affected a month ago by fires were still all closed. It just hadn't updated, it wasn't smart enough, and as a result, of course, the first one I picked up, I realised it, and I navigated from my phone. The second one I didn't until I was about 80 kilometres into the detour. I wound up having to travel an extra about 180 to 190 kilometres. So wasn't too happy with that, and I'll have to reset this, change the settings of this GPS so it actually prompts me before it automatically recalculates. However, lessons learned. We're in Tasmania, and we'll see how we go, and hopefully we're going to have good weather and an enjoyable stay here. Just looking at the farmland. I'm not quite sure where this route's going to take us now, because I just keyed it in hurriedly. But whatever, I guess we're going to see some of the countryside. That's rather pretty. I wonder, oh, that'll be the what's it, the river that runs through Launceston, because it's quite a long estuary. Tamar, I think. Or is that the one in Hobart, Tamar? Can't remember. Yeah, I was correct. I see on my GPS, that's the Sorrel Inlet, which is I think it is the Tamar River. The Derwent River's in Hobart. So that runs back on down to Launceston. Rather impressive actually, because it's quite a good long way in. these roads are to die for as far as motorcycles concerned. Franklin River. We just a while ago, the river running into the Sorrel Inlet was the Rubicon. So I've now crossed the Rubicon. That's some of the farm buildings and little villages around here, like this one ahead, and the house up on the top of the hill, that's made out of slab. There's a lot of them around like that. I mean, they must have been made back in the 1800s. There's another one. A lot of them are still in use. And some of the houses look like they might have been made back in the 1800s too. It just went through a little village back there, and I don't think there was a house that had been built in this century or within the last 100 years. It's just like time forgot the place. Lania, I'm going to see if I can get a cup of coffee here. I think it's a bit after 10. So it's coffee time. And I reckon that's as good as any over there. Let's see where I can park here. Okay, so I've had a cup of coffee, feel much better now. And just as I was leaving, I noticed that there was, on the right-hand side back there, was a museum and cafe, Burt Munro, the world's fastest Indian. So I'm guessing this is the area that he came from. Anyway, headed up towards Georgetown now, which is the route that I originally wanted when I planned it. So it looks like it's turning out the way I'd originally wanted it anyway, so that's great. So having made a complete idiot of myself earlier on when I was rabbiting on about the Tamar River, that actually is miles away from the Tamar. We're just coming up the Tamar now. That inlet runs off just about half a kilometre past, or a kilometre past Devonport to the east, and runs inland, but it doesn't produce the fact that it's spectacular just there. But the Tamar is a long way further to the east than what I was claiming it was, and if I had spent 2 seconds and looked at the map, I would have figured that out. So now, Tamar River. Here we go. It's a big river, and it's very tidal here too. You can see a lot of movement in the water. Up the other way, that is a big inlet. So, having got my geography correct again, Launceston's down further down the river to the south from where we are now, and that's this one up to our left, up to the north, that empties out eventually into the city. Okay, so we're back up onto the north coast again, Bell Bay. There's one thing about Tasmania, it's certainly got some mountains in it. I've noticed that there's a lot of logging trucks on this road. In fact, everywhere since Devonport. And I'm assuming, in fact, that the logs are coming from these big forests here. There's 4 or 5 of these I've gone past. Quite big pine forest. One would hope that's where it's coming from. But these trees are growing very tall, I guess very quickly in this climate. It's probably ideal for them. Some idea of the mountains around here, the clouds right down on them. This area here, we're near Scottsdale, is all rolling hills and looks like dairy cattle. Dairy farms mostly, I think. A little bit earlier, back near Launceston, there was a plethora of wineries. This is the little village of Derby. It's pretty much a good example of all the little villages around that I've seen today. This one's even got a caravan park though, so it must be big. Looks like the local sport is riding push bikes or mountain biking. Dozens of them, one everywhere. Why they want to pedal something when you can put an engine in it, I don't know. But have a little bit of Tassie rainforest. Been through quite a bit of this actually. One thing that Tasmania certainly got a lot of is mountains and twisty roads like this one. And they're all covered in this really great rainforest, or the I don't know if they're rainforest, but they're forests anyway. Coming into Wildeborough. This is where we're going to spend the night, in the pub here. Not quite sure why I picked this, probably because the other places were booked out, I think. But I think it's going to be, could be interesting, nice little place. Little burg in the middle of the mountains.